Hello, I'm Scott Moore, Associate Professor at Michigan's Ross School of Business. In this video, it is my absolute pleasure to talk to you about Wolfram Alpha, one of the coolest, if not the totally coolest, websites on the internet. It is basically a computational knowledge engine. This is not a search engine. It is not. If you're looking for something when you have a question and it has an answer, that there's an answer out there that you're trying to find, this is the place to go. I'm going to show you today just a very small percentage of the things that it can do, and you'll see that it is totally cool. You'll definitely want to spend a bunch of time playing with this, and it will be playing with this because it is so cool. This is part of the same organization that created the Mathematica software, which is absolutely the sweetest piece of mathematical software that's out there. This was created back in 1987. The company was founded by Stephen Wolfram. This guy is basically a mathematical and physics genius. Wrote one of the most controversial mathematics books, at least in the 2000s. A New Kind of Science, 2002 came out. But it doesn't in any way diminish anything, and maybe it enhances, depending on what you think about the book, this website and the work that he's done both with Mathematica and Wolfram Alpha. What I'm going to do today is take you through, again, just very few examples. It'll seem like a lot, and I'm going to flip through them really quickly. But I need to give you a flavor of the breadth of knowledge that this website brings to you and makes available to you. So let's just get going. So let's start with their foundations here with a mathematical example. So integrate x squared sine cubed of x dx. Sure, why not? So here's the answer. Wouldn't we have loved to have had that during our AP Calc or Calc class in college or whatnot? So it gives the answer, graphs it, alternate forms of the integral. Lovely, okay? Standard deviation of the series of numbers, and it tells you what it is. Oh, do you want to use population standard deviation instead? There's the answer. Okay, so just assume anything having to do with math or stats, it can calculate. Linear fit of these numbers. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Here's the formula. 13x plus 90.2 gives you the r squared, adjusted r squared. Sure, go ahead and graph it, graph the residuals. Again, perfect. Okay. Then you can go on to units. It can handle units. Cubic foot. Here's all the conversions that it can do for you. Conversions from other units to cubic feet. By the way, it's volume. There's different unit systems it knows about. Oh, did you know that a 7.444 radius sphere has a 1 cubic foot volume? Me neither. Okay. 30 miles per gallon in kilometers per liter. Sure, it'll give you the answer. It'll give you, well, miles per imperial gallon if you happen to be going over to the UK. Meters per liter. Here is, sure, the highest EPA mileage rated vehicle. 1.4 times the average midsize car fuel economy. Sure. Just goes on and on, right? Here, compare 175 pounds with 100 kilograms. I wonder which is bigger. And it goes ahead and shows you 175 pounds is that many. Got a relationship here. Got this relationship here. So okay, so we're good. This is to this. This is to this. Super. That's what we're looking for. So now we can do the comparison. Here's the comparison in ratios. You add them together in different ways. Fractions of the total if you had added them together. Mass density. Can you tell me about mass density? Oh, sure. It's commonly represented by rho, mass over cubic length. It's a scalar. Okay. Now, one of my sort of little fun things that I love is information about fractals. So here's the Sierpinski gasket. Looks like that. It starts with a triangle. One iteration is that, and then it continues on. This is 4 iterations. Well, what's so cool about this? Well, the area at the limit is 0. Area. So you say, how could that be? Well, let's make this 8. Okay, I'll hit enter. See what this looks like. So there's a lot less. By now, it's 10% of the initial area, and that's only after 8 iterations. Well, if you go up to 1,000, I bet it's really small. So anyway, that's the Sierpinski gasket. The Menger sponge, same thing here. After 2 iterations, it looks like that. That's an iteration. Surface area is now 13 times. Eventually, the surface area approaches infinity, while the volume approaches 0. You say, what if we do 5? Hit enter, see what this looks like. So, it's calculating, and that's what it now looks like. 110 times the surface area and 22% of the volume. Again, the Menger sponge. Australian Western Time. Can you tell me about time zones? Sure, that's where it is, and that's the relationship to Eastern Daylight Time, which is where I am. Weather in 2007. I just enter that. Just weather 2007. Well, it knows that I'm in Ann Arbor, so it says, all right, so here's the information for all of September, and here's the daily and hourly rate temperatures. Gives me some stats. Cloud cover percentage. I'm surprised it's not always up at 100%. Rain, thunder, storms, precipitation. Didn't rain much that month. Humidity. Just whatever in the heck you want. Okay. I wonder what the distance is from Buenos Aires to Sao Paulo to La Paz to Panama. Well, it says, if we go that way, it's 4,450 miles. It'll take that long in an aircraft. Light going over fiber optics. Take 33.5 milliseconds. And it maps it out. Also knows about historical events. People with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Well, there they are. Again, these are facts. There's no doubting. You can't say, no, I'm pretty sure that Thomas Lynch wasn't there. No, he was there. And they know it. It's in the historical record. So here's the answer. Game of Thrones knows about cultural topics. So tell me about, do we want the book or the television series? I'm reading the book, but I've watched the series so far. It rocks, okay? It rocks. So it tells you about it. Viserys, Robert Baratheon, Theon Greyjoy, Eddard Stark. You got to watch this. Okay, you got to watch this. So anyway, so it tells you about that. It tells about words, definitions, shocking, synonyms to granular. Okay, so here's a bunch of synonyms. Gives you some definitions. Perfect. Word plinth. What is that? Support or base for a column or statue. This was heavily used in the 1500s, and it's been sort of steadily used since the mid to late 1700s. Of course. Tell me about my Facebook activity. So I gave it it knew my Facebook name. Didn't know my password. I gave it that. And so then it tells me all sorts of things. I found this for my daughters. Made sure I posted that. Gymkhana, amazing. So these are the ones that are more liked. Word frequency, timeline for server. So it tells me about, the word server was used somewhat in the mid 1600s, but then started a little bit more around 1900 and then really took off around the turn of that century. Let's see anything else. Also knows about sports. This is so cool. NFL teams with more than 15 rushing touchdowns and more than 20 passing touchdowns in 2011. So this is the query it ran, and it gives you these answers. And say, yeah, sure. Okay, so it tells me a little bit more about those, goes a little bit farther down, gives me the standings for those teams. Oh, and you can always download all this data. Sure, no biggie. Knows about consumer products. Tell me about digital cameras. Hey, turns out Nikon has 92 models of digital camera from $120 to $6,000. You can see the median is much lower than the 6,000. I can get information on more brands. Here's the products themselves, price distribution, features, what percent. Turns out 83% of the cameras that they know about has burst mode. Okay, so, and on and on. Stock data. Okay, so this is sort of ridiculous how much information it has about stock data, and I just wanted to show you. So you can get information about a particular stock, you can compare stocks, get historical prices, you can do calculations with it, put together a portfolio, find out about analyst ratings, find Starbucks strong buy recommendations versus hold recommendations, find out about that, look at indices, mutual funds. You're getting the idea. It has freaking everything. Again, stock data. Futures contracts. Tell me about soybean futures. Help me do some analysis about my mortgage, ARMs. Continuous interest. Give me a present value. Currency conversions. How much tip is on 4350? Bonds, salaries. Give me some equivalents. How much would this be, per hour? I'm sure it would tell you that. Sales tax wherever you happen to be. What's the value of $2,500 in $1950? Okay, so just crazy, right? Age pyramid for the Philippines. Well, now you know that this is the ratio. This is, sort of the percent. And you say, gosh, what is that? Well, then they have all these values down here, and you can download the data here, and this is a nice graph for it. Awesome. New businesses registered in Europe. Well, this median per year, highest and lowest, where they're mostly founded, when they're founded, again, where by country, median, highest, lowest, distribution, just every kind of stat you'd want to see. Hey, I got a blood pressure, 145 over 90. Is that good or bad? Oh, well, I'll tell you what it means, and I'll show you compared to everyone else where you fall. Okay, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. It knows about companies. Just enter company and name, Hallmark, revenue, who are Microsoft officers, Apple and Google directors. Let's say Bausch & Lomb. Let's just enter that. And now we have to wait. And it goes off and finds, and this will always do this. It's trying to get me to upgrade to Pro for you. It's like right now in 2012, like $3 a month for students and $5 a month for me. Okay, so... but it still does work for you. So it tells you all this stuff about Bausch & Lomb. And then 16 gallons of gas in New York City, along with a ton of other transportation-related information. Well, it gives you the historical, what the price a gallon has been, average, maximum, min over that time. Okay, so what you need to do is go to their examples page and just look through stuff that interests you. I mean, look how much there is. So it's wolframalpha.com/examples. And they also have demonstrations.wolfram.com, and this stuff is super cool, super attractive, really amazing what it can do. And this shows you there's a ton of stuff here about business, of course, mathematics, etc., etc. So I highly recommend that you get very familiar with this. I've already said that before about what one thing I want you to take out of this class. Well, this is number 2. Okay, this is number 2. This is just such an amazing tool. Get used to using it when you have a question that has an answer and you want to see what it is quick and be really well informed. All right, enjoy. Until next time.